we go. I want to thank everybody for joining us on your live event tonight for the Hillsboro Rec District Public Forum. Myself, Levi Reese, the president of the Rec District, and we also have Rob Owens with us live here. Chris Brecken is here via Teams, so he'll be listening in and chiming in as needed. Just a reminder that if you have questions, you can text or call in, and the number is, I gotta find it again. Oops. 701-314-2748. Again, if you wanna have any questions or concerns, you can call or text in at 701-314-2748. And I better write that down so we can say it a couple times. So first off, we'll just start in talking about the history of the Rec District and where we're at in our funding process so far. So back in about 12 years ago, the Hillsboro Rec District was formed. And with that, there was a mill levy vote that allowed the district to bring in mills to cover different programs that we have. When I came on a couple of years ago, we found out the mill levy was ended on that year. So for the last 2 years, the city has been generous and giving the rec district $10,000 each year to keep us up and running. What you can see over the past several years on the screen up back here, that we lost pretty much every year. We have had a loss in revenue for different events. The only year that we did generate money was 2018, and we believe that was up due to we had the Legion tournament here. And so it's been a steady increase. Last year we were going to see another $6,000 decrease, and a lot of this comes from our salaries that we need to pay out every year. We spend this year about $16,000 on salaries. And our goal as a group is, we're trying to, the mill levy will be there to help pay the salaries. That way the players are only paying for the actual events that they're in. This is our budget for this year, which we've changed a little bit because of the COVID-19. We actually have to go up on our salaries. We decided that last week, and I didn't get the PowerPoint changed as I should have. But we added another position, or no, this was 2019, sorry.
Yes, last
year. 2000, so last year, this is what we spent on salaries, and we actually were at an $8,000 deficit, but we had some other generous donors that brought us in, and I think we were down to $3,000 or $4,000.
And with that last year, we did have some expenses we weren't expecting. We had the mound for the baseball and softball fields, so the baseball could be played on those, and a few other things that came up that we knew we would have to purchase, but they would be a one-time or every 10-year type purchase, but that still left us with a deficit.
Great. And so 2020, we did the budget this year, and what we're looking at again is about $16,816, but we also, and Garth just came on, our other board member. We anticipate about $16,816 for salaries. Like I said, we had to add another T-ball coach, a full-time head T-ball coach, because we're concerned to make sure that everything is run smoothly this year, because we are running things a little different to make sure that we are following all the CDC and governor's guidelines. So if you look at this sheet, you can see the different expenses as far as, ads, what the Legion, our Legion and Babe Ruth are by far our biggest expense as far as programs. A lot of that has to deal with travel and supplies, and those are our lower number teams. If you look on this slide, last year we had 14 in Legion and 19 in Babe Ruth. And so in order for us to pay or to break even, with the $10,000 that we get from the city, we'd have to charge $340 per kid if we had 20 kids for Babe Ruth and 15 kids for Legion to break even. And so we had sent out letters to the Legions in the area, we sent out letters for sponsorships in the area, hoping that we can get some of that covered. And we know this year we are going to probably have to take another loss again. But the mill levy, if we can, if you vote yes on the ballot for November 9th, or for June 9th, we will be able to basically fund and stay in the black instead of the red. This is what it costs for total salaries. If,
Is that the one that's updated, Levi?
yep, this is maybe the one that's updated. So with this one, this would show if we had 100% of our salaries covered by the mill levy, this would be our fees that we would be able to charge to break even. So you can see that Legion and Babe Ruth would have been at $340 if we can't break even with our salaries. With it, we can bring the program fees down to $150. Now granted, these are all projected numbers. We had to raise fees a little bit this year when we opened up our registration to make sure that we can get everything covered. Like I said, all of this was worked in beforehand. Kind of wanted to show you, this is something I generated before as far as where the city is at, as far as mills being generated across other communities in our area. And this was back 2018 numbers, because we were using it for 2019 figures. You can see that Hillsboro currently at 2019 is at 75.85 mils, thereabouts. And you look at all the other communities, Thompson's at 64, Harwood's at 74, Grandin's at 73, Grand Forks is at 98, but you look at what's generated, and you can see that it's pretty similar. You know, we're at 75 per $50,000 of home value, we generate about $170.66. Castleton's at 65 and they're generating 147.71. So we're fairly similar in funding. It all depends on what is needed. So if we look at the mills itself, one mill in Hillsboro generates about $4,360.88. Every mill that is set out. If we set with the vote, the max we could generate is 6 mills. So today's value, we generate about $26,165.28. With our current salaries where they're set, we only need to be at about 3.86 mils to break even. And we're not gonna go over. We're gonna pay for our salaries and that's where we're setting at. That's what we're looking to do. So, $150,000 home, you're looking at about $26.05. That is what your taxes would go up if this passed. If you went to the max, we'd be at $40.50. And we're not saying we're going to do that, I just wanted to put out there, this is what it would be. $250,000 home, you'd be at about $43.43.
And that's per year, right?
Per year, yep, that would be per year. And this is all, these numbers will change because it fluctuates based on assessed values, but you know, this is based on the 2019 values, so you'd have an idea where you would be at. So some of the other things that we wanted to talk about, if it's passed, the rec district will keep going as is. We've talked about expanding programs, we worked on that to expand our adult programs in the wintertime for, we are looking at different ways, you know, during this time, we could have said, no, we're not gonna play. But we decided to come up with a plan, which you can find on our Hillsboro Rec District web, or Facebook page, or on the City of Hillsboro site, that plan is out there. And so we want to keep it, the programs going, because we know that they're important. If it does not pass, the Hillsboro Rec District, as you see it, will cease to exist. We cannot operate as a district or an entity unless we're levying money. So the choice then at that point would have to be turned over to the Park District or turned over to the city of Hillsboro. Rob, do you have anything?
No, other than that, if you break that down by cost, really, for a $150,000 home, roughly in that area, you're paying $2.17 a month to ensure that it covers those coaches, those in the community that are going to help benefit those young kids in our community and build the type of, citizens that we want to have in our community. I know that there's a lot of things that are going now, and then due to COVID and all the other things that are going on, a lot of people are just hungry to get out, to be part of something. And of any year, this would be the year to do it. I mean, we have the ability to make good programs and have good coaches and have really good systems in play as long as there's some type of financial backing. And we're not asking for everything to be covered. We're not asking for, the parents who have children to basically not invest in their kids. We're just trying to offset some of those costs. I know that if you have no kids, this is not going to really affect you. This is not going to be something you're going to think about that is going to be something on the high priority of your list. And at this time, everybody's in a situation where funds are kind of low. But if you think about it in respect to comparable things out there, we're looking at a $150,000 home. You're investing less than $3. You can't even buy a cup of coffee at Starbucks for that. And then the payback is so much greater by just a little bit in this case. And if we can think about it in that term, you're going to make better citizens of this community. You're going to make better athletes of this community. You're going to give children something to do that they wouldn't have if we didn't have a rec district. They'd have opportunities that they wouldn't get. And I know even if they're not your children, they still affect you because they still look at you and you still have opportunities to partake in their lives as well. And as I know that my children are slowly coming out of this as well, I still think that it's time to give back. And I know people have been giving back for a long time, but it's still something that we need to do to ensure that this community is as great as it is right now, because we've been doing it right now. And if we take it away, we don't know where we're going to go with that. So I know it's another thing that you're thinking about, why do I need to do this? But we need to do it for the city of Hillsboro. That's why we need to do this. We need to make sure that we have opportunities for kids. Just like we wanted to make sure we had opportunities for all the citizens, we want to make sure we want to have good places to eat, good places to buy groceries, good places to purchase, all these services in town. We want to make sure that our children also have these services available to them as well. So,
And the biggest thing with the Hillsboro Rec District right now is it's a partnership between three entities. I represent the city of Hillsboro on the board. Chris represents the school district on the board, and Cody Harpstead represents the Park District on the board. And it's been a great partnership for the past 12 years as we all work together for one common thing. The school lets us use the facilities that they have for it. The city lets use facilities and has helped financially over the past couple of years. And the Park District has also financially put some things in, and they also are let us use the facilities for the softball and the t-ball and the little league.
as well as the golf course as well.
And the golf course as well. They're not part of the district, but they've been allowing us to go out and have golf lessons as part of this. So if we lose the rec district, if it doesn't pass, all those partnerships have to be built again. Chris, do you have anything that you want to talk about?
Well, I just want to reiterate some of the things that you guys have talked about. I think it's an invaluable offering that the school and the park district and the city and everyone.
We lost our feed.
Get so this community to benefit from it. Really, when it comes down to it, the amount of extra money in taxes and things that we might see on the paperwork and the things that Levi's put in front of us for everyone to see isn't necessarily the support that we have as a community is much greater than the effort that we would put in and what we'd end up having to put in extra towards this project. I think you look at the success that our through learning teamwork and learning how to leadership roles and all those types of things they learn throughout these summer programs. I think it would be for those things to them in a different platform. It'd be hard for us to do that. The school looks to the rec district to help with those lessons, and as parents, I think we also enjoy our kids to have some other folks that they're responsible to, be it their teammates or coaching staff. Myself, I see this as an opportunity to bolster what we do have in our community and to give us a very good platform to move forward and start offering other classes for adults and not just T-ball and Babe Ruth and those type of things. I mean, this is a rec district that encompasses things that don't necessarily start and stop with our youth. We can do some things with our adult in the community as well, and that's where I think we need to make sure that we make that point. But that's about where I'm at with that, guys. So I hope you, the technology got some of that through. That's my feelings on that. So.
Again, the number, if you want to call it, text or call in, is 701-314-2748, 701-314-2748. You know, and one of the things that the board told Ben Strand this year as our summer manager is that, you know, this year we need to focus on those fundamentals and the key leadership skills and the different things that make you more than just a player. You know, those skills that help you become a good leader both on the field and off the field, and learn those skills. This is a great time for us to do that. You know, we may not be able to play teams this year, we're not sure, but we're going to try. We've set that plan out in place, and we'll talk a little bit about that. You know, when we first open up here on June 1st with our registration, our registration is currently open, but when we start our practices on June 1st, you know, we're limiting it to 15 people on the field. We're going to check to make sure that everybody's healthy coming into the field. We're going to sanitize. We're going to make sure that the kids are using hand sanitizer. We're cleaning in between groups that are coming in. We want to make sure that our kids are safe. We also, you know, if we can move on to phase 2, that is when we can start traveling. We're not letting our T-ball and Little League teams travel, but we'll let our older kids travel. You know, and one of the things we had to consider is, do we bus these kids like we normally do? And we decided that's probably not the best for our kids at this time. So we're gonna have to ask parents to transport their own kids to the different games as we go through. You know, and the other hard decision that the board came up with is, you know, we set this plan into play, and if the other teams aren't following it, we're gonna have to forfeit the game. And we know that's a hard decision on a coach, but we have to remember that we wanna keep our kids safe. And that's our number one goal. When we get into phase 3, that's when we'll let our younger kids go travel a little bit more, and our older kids will be able to travel across the state. And then, you know, the phase 4 is when we'll go back to normal. I don't know if we'll get there this year, we can hope and we can try, but, you know, as long as everybody does their part now, it will be better off for us. You know, when parents are dropping off their kids, make sure that you're not congregating together. And, you know, it's going to be tough because we're not allowing parents and other people to watch the games. We're gonna stream them this year. And that's, a lot of it is we don't have the funds to have people there to do the things that we need to do to keep the parents and everybody else safe. And so I know it's some hard decisions that we had to make, but we're looking out in the best interest of our citizens, of our players, and keep this programs up and running. Again, if you have any questions, you can call or text 314-278-48. Or 314-2748. We had a couple questions online. Again, this group is not, one of the questions is that, you know, I don't want to give any more money to the school district. Well, the money does not go to the school district for this. It is his own funding entity at the current time. And so it is a partnership with the school again, but it's just its own separate entity, just like the park board, just like the, I'm drawing a blank.
The park board, you're talking about this like any other type?
Any other
Yeah. So
revenue generating.
we get to use the facilities of the school and
Yep.
it's free of charge. But we are separate and unique. We have Mr. Brecken as a representative of the school to help us, to guide us and take care of some issues if he can. So that's kind of where we're looking at. And Mr. Brecken apologizes for his spotty technology, but it's all good. It came through pretty decently for us.
Yep.
So remember to give that call if you have a question. It feels like telephone though, a little bit. Don't
It
lose
does
that.
kinda,
Yeah.
except we're not, the money doesn't go up.
Yeah, that's right.
Now we know how Brady feels on the radio. It's very different.
701-314-2748 if you'd like to call in, ask questions. This is a good time, ask. We've got a lot of good ideas, but again, we're kind of crippled by the situation at hand. And we're gonna do our best to make sure that everyone in the community is safe and protected. And we basically can assure that good skill management and good use of our facilities are going to happen this summer. Now, it may be different, it may be something that we are not expecting, but kids are gonna learn, kids are gonna take things from it, and they're gonna grow in their leadership skills and their abilities, and hopefully they learn how to work in a situation like we do have. And I think that's kind of what we need to look at, especially for young kids now that, you know, since we didn't have school, that, you know, they kind of missed out on that opportunity. They learned to work in a different way, but now we're going to have to accommodate for sports, and this would be a good, you know, indication for what's possibly gonna happen in the fall with our school district sports and things like that. So, everyone's gonna have to adjust and become comfortable with our new life that we have. And that's about all that new things we can really say about, so.
We've got one question here.
Sure.
They asked, could you elaborate on the payroll? Why is it so much higher now than say 3-4 years ago? And part of that is we had to look at, you know,
Minimum wage first.
minimum wage, but, you know, so a head Babe Ruth and a head Legion player, head Babe Ruth and Legion coach is paid $2,200 a year. That's before taxes, that is their base salary. Softball coach, all the head coaches except for T-ball this year are all paid at that $2,200. You know, they're doing a 2-month season. You look at what the school districts are paying around in the area, and they're paying $3,000 to $4,000. So if we can't come closer to that, we're not going to find quality coaches. You know, and I don't feel like the parents would appreciate having just anybody that doesn't know how to coach to be out there with their kids. You know, and some of the other things that we've done to make sure that our coaches are safe, and we went above and beyond. We're not required to make sure that our coaches are CPR certified. We're not required to do that, but we are making sure that they're CPR certified. We're making sure that they're taking some different coaching training to make sure that they know how to coach and they're gonna be safe with our kids. I hope that kinda answers it. I guess the other thing is we've added a few more assistants because our numbers have went up. To ask one person to try to handle 40 Legion kid, or 40 Little League kids is really tough for one person. You know, if you look at our football team, for Hillsboro, we have a head coach and we have 5 or 6 other coaches, and we're looking at 60 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, or you look at our basketball teams, we have a head coach and 2 other coaches that are also helping with 30, 40 kids. Softball, same type of thing. Baseball, same type of thing. So, I mean, we're just trying to keep up, but we know that we won't be there completely.
You have to invest into good coaches. Good coaches are not going to work for free, even though if you broke down the hourly charge of what our coaches put in, it's not a lot of money. They do it because they love the game, but yes, we have to make it, you know, equitable enough for them to actually understand why they are doing the things they're doing. We have really excellent coaches that work with our kids, and the way they work with those kids and the hours they put in, it's not just what you see on paper. The practice is not just that hour-long practice. It could be a 2-hour, 3-hour practice. He might or she might stay after and work with the pitchers, or work with, as a golf coach, you may stay and work with 3 or 4 kids on just pitching and driving skills and things like that. Or, you know, the travel time to go to events. Now, this year it might be different because we may not have that, but in most years you're traveling to different events and you're gone. You're just gone for the whole day. It's not like a baseball tournament is a 3-hour affair. You're gone and it's 3-4 games and you might be there the next day. You know, I know Corey's got a whole bunch of different tournaments that he usually goes to, and being a father of a child that was in softball, you don't have any weekends. You have Saturday, Sunday tournaments, that's what you call them, and being a father of kids who were in other sports, you know that they are going to take a lot of time, and if you break down how much $2,200 or whatever it is, and you put a number of hours or put in, it's not a lot of money. I wish I could double all of them and make it so everybody had the ability to, it was something that everyone is looking at, okay, yeah, I feel like I'm getting valued. Coaching is not something you get your value from extrinsically. You do not get the money to pay for it. Intrinsically is where you make your bountiful amounts. That's where you get your payback. Kids that come up and thank you, and kids that learn how to do something they couldn't do before, and you were a big part of it, that's your payback. But yet we still have to make it entertaining enough on the pay side to make sure that those guys want to do it, or those ladies want to do it. So, and notice that we have adult coaches for the fact that sometimes they're just more reliable. It's better to have an adult, especially in positions that need a lot of guidance. And it's tough for a 16-year-old kid to go tell a 14-year-old kid that he needs to do this. It's just the way it works. But having those adult coaches, they will get after those kids and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Again, we'll make one last call for anybody that wants to text in questions or call in. It's 314
2748.
314-2748. And I want to thank everybody that has been patient with us over the last couple years, we try to do different things to try to make the budget work. We try different new programming, new plans. I had somebody ask me the other day, what are we gonna do about if they could come back with pickleball? I don't know that we can do it this summer at the Armory, just for the fact of, we run a different program over there. But I haven't had time yet, but I'm working on it. Maybe we'll do something with the courts that are over at the school, or maybe we'll work with, I know the Park District has expressed concerns about making pickleball courts different places. So all these ideas that you bring to us, we're taking them serious and we're trying to find different ways of doing things. You know, we had an adult class with Corey this year, and that was a very successful class. We ended up having 2 classes because people liked it so much. You know, and if you have those things that you want to show people your skills, watching a video today on Facebook with Jack Short, I think we could definitely show us how to wash our hands at this time, or other videos. So, you know, if you got something to show us or tell us, show us for other people to use, just let us know. We'll take anything into consideration and try to make it work. We have lots of ideas. Cody Harpstead is kind of taking our summer, or not our summer, our adult programs under his wing and try to make sure that we can build some more programs. You know, we tried dancing, that didn't go over so well. That's because Garth and Chris didn't want to teach the class, I think. If we would have had those 2 teaching, we would have had a lot of people signing up.
I would have done it.
Yeah. Brady, I bet you have some good moves.
You know I do.
Yeah, this is my 3rd year doing this, is this? Yeah, second year? Yeah, and I've learned a lot, and there's lots of things out there that we are trying to implement and we're learning how to do it. I know there's things that, like our streamlining of how to pay and how to get it registered and things like that has helped. I know some people become frustrated with new technology, but it's all trying to make sure that we have the ability to reach as many people in as a little amount of stress as possible. So we are trying to do things. I know we would love, and as Levi said, to increase the adult education side.
That's not one for us, that's my sister.
Oh,
So.
excellent. Increase the adult education side, which would be excellent. And as he said, if you have any ideas, keep bringing it forward. I know we have some out there and we're trying to work them in. And again, this year is going to be weird. It's going to be different. But we are going to make the best we can of it, because that's what we do. That's what we do in this town. We're given a situation, we rise up and we take care of it. That's how this should be taken care of, and how we should, as citizens of Hillsboro, take this situation and vote yes for this ability for us to get a little funding to pay for those things that this community needs in order to make it the best community out there.
You know, and like you said, we're trying to do different things and become better. You know, this year we decided that we got rid of team snap this year. Part of it was a financial standing, but so hopefully the new play on system that we're using will be a little bit better and user friendly. You know, and one of the things we talked about, you know, we used to have a program for those families in town that couldn't afford to pay for summer programs. You know, and the Park District just stepped up and said they're gonna help with that in the past. And, you know, that's the thing, we could charge $500 to play Legion or Babe Ruth, but it's not gonna be, we're not gonna get the players like we should. You know, not everybody can afford to pay that much, and, you know, you think about it, you know, Mills is what helps everybody in town do what they need to do. Everybody pays for the streets. Some people may not drive, but you still pay for it if you own a house. We pay for fire protection, we pay for water, we pay for sewer, we pay for electricity. All those things are part of mills that we generate. You know what? And it's we have sales tax dollars that work a little bit differently, but you know, for this type of district that we have, the only way that we can generate money is through the mill levies or fees in the programs, so. We'll give one last shout out for anybody that wants to call in.
701-314-2748. Call on in if you like.
Or text if you don't want to be heard on your live event. And I want to thank all the board members, Cody Harpstead, Chris Brecken, Rob Owens, and Garth Limke. They've put all in a lot of hours and time and decisions and hard decisions to make sure that our programs are up and running. So I hope everybody, when they get their mail-in ballot, will vote yes on the second measure on the column for the city of Hillsboro. So vote yes. And like I said, it's not. They put all in a lot of.
That's us.
It's not a lot of money. At the end of the day, like Rob said, you know, you're looking at.
Couple of dollars a month.
Let me find the money again. It's $26.05 a year if you own a $150,000 home, and $43.43 if you own a $250,000 home.
Way cheaper than Netflix.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd like to thank Brady and your live event for covering this, and the 7 people watching right now that are working hard and paying attention and doing the things they need to do. So.
And share it.
Yeah, talk about it.
You know, the best thing that'll make this pass is you, the 7 of you that are watching, go tell 7 people, and then those 7 people go tell 7 people. You know, we put this out on our Facebook the other day that somebody asked a question. I said the board just wants people to know the truth and the facts and figures. We're not trying to sugarcoat anything. We just want to let people know where we're at and why we need the money to make the programs work. So, Chris, do you have anything before we sign off for the day?
I guess I just want to dovetail into the fact, like you were talking at the end here, that one of the things that stood out to me after we really dove into the money side of the rec district is how much money it takes for this programs to really happen. With the expenses that we have, bats and balls and all those other types of things, plus the salaries for our coaching staff. I'm not sure that everyone really grasps the amount that it's over 40 grand to make this happen. And that money really has to come from somewhere, and being able to offer these programs is something that I think everyone, obviously on the board, and a lot of the people that I've talked to in the community are well behind. But I think putting that number out there, and there's really talking about that there's $40-some thousand that has to come from somewhere. And just because we're saying 6 mills doesn't mean that we take 6 mills every year. We'll sit and budget and look at what our expenses will be for the coming year, and it might only be 2. It might, some years, if we have a lot of infrastructure or something, special projects that we might deem important, we might move closer to that 6 mills. But I think as a board, we felt that was a place where the community felt comfortable in reinvesting in their community, and felt that 6 mills would be a place where we could live comfortably. Doesn't going to be there all the time, but just keep in mind that these programs are important to our kids, and they come. They're not cheap to run.
And if anybody wants to go back and look,
Important stuff is money.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying, important stuff is worth investing in my book. So.
And if anybody wants to look at numbers, facts and figures, everything is on the City of Hillsboro website under Rec District, and you can see all of the board packets and different information that we've done over the last couple of years. Since we haven't been able to meet in person, our meetings are recorded, and those are uploaded on there also. So just say thanks again, like Rob said, thanks to Brady and your live event, KRJB and Halstead Telephone for helping us out with this. And I guess we don't have any more questions, so all we'll
Great.
say is vote yes.
Oh, yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.